Roddy. Say that 10 times fast. Welcome to a special episode of Too Old or Pure Gold movie podcast. In today's episode, we're discussing the 1988 sci-fi classic, They Live. The format of our podcast, two Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out, are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial co-hosts to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine, are they too old or pure gold? I'm your host, Matthew Stockton, representing all of Gen X. And today we have a very special guest, my co-host on the Dark Poutine podcast, Mike Brown.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I have to identify as one of those Gen Xers, too.
You do. Unfortunately, my friend, we're that old.
I was born right between the moon landing and Woodstock, so I guess they had to put the second coming somewhere.
And representing the millennials today, we have comedian and host of the absolutely obscure podcast, Josh Flemming.
Hello, thanks for having me again.
Thanks for joining us, Josh.
Absolutely obscure, okay.
Yeah, check it out. And we also have Hoffman Lens technology expert and some say comedian, Will Corry.
Hey, thank you for that glowing intro.
And for our listeners, this is not a video podcast, but Will is the most handsome of us all. We also welcome our Gen Z correspondent and space alien rights watchdog, Nicole.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, those darn Aztec mummies.
How you doing, Nicole?
I'm great.
Are you happy to be here to talk about this movie today?
Of course.
Excellent.
She doesn't sound very sure about that.
She's not sure.
I'm over the moon. I'm just so thrilled.
So, as we said, today's movie is the 1988 They Live, starring famed wrestler and actor Roddy Piper.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and Too Old or Pure Gold favorite from The Thing, actor Keith David.
Keith David, yes. He's also now in another property that you can see that is, I think is it Hell of a Boss, or which one is it? Has been, I think it's Hell of a Boss.
Hell of a Boss.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
The movie is directed by John Carpenter, and since this is our fourth John Carpenter movie on the podcast, that makes him the leader of the 80s,
as he
according
should
to us.
be.
Yes, definitely. The tagline... okay, sorry, I'm just reading Olin's bad script.
Whoa. Whoa.
Matthew, I noticed that you're reading a lot slower than you do on our show. So I would ask you if you could do the same for Dark Poutine. I would really appreciate that.
Mike, did you notice that yesterday when I had wrote quite a bit because you wrote a script that really that guy pissed me off so much that I had a lot to say, and I actually read it slowly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've actually been practicing, my friend.
Toastmasters. Okay.
Yeah, so guys, I used to read stuff on the Dark Poutine podcast, and Mike was like, whoa, holy shit.
I'm done.
So, okay, let me restart. The tagline for the movie is long. You'll see them on the street, you'll watch them on TV. You might even vote for one this fall. You think they are people just like you? You're wrong. Dead wrong. Wow, prescient.
You're no kidding.
IMDb describes the movie as they influence our decisions without us knowing it. They numb our senses without us feeling it. They control our lives without us realizing it. They live. Does this really describe the movie? Not really, but maybe. Let's go into a plot summary. So, for those of you who have not seen the movie, we asked Olin's 93-year-old dad to watch They Live and summarize the plot.
Oh, no.
Here he is. Take it away, Hank. Dad's name?
Hank? You called him Hank?
Yes.
He thinks your dad's name is Hank.
Hank is an old Dutch dude's name.
Is it?
Yeah.
His name is Peter.
Oh. I thought it was Hank.
Well, in actual Dutch, it would be Pieter, wouldn't it?
Pieter.
Yes.
It would. All this time I thought it was Hank. Okay.
I can't believe you thought it was Hank.
You know what? And I'm going to back you up. Hank sounded right to me, too. It's
Well, I like it better.
Well, to be fair, Josh, you haven't met him.
right.
To be fair.
They live. It's about a drifter named Nada, and he gets a whole bunch of sunglasses. And when he looks through the sunglass, he all of a sudden sees people that are actually aliens, and they look like skulls. And they find out that the aliens and the government want to actually control the common people, the working people. They call them humans. And this they do by making sure that the media gives them special messages. They want to keep them obedient. So the messages, they look quite normal as advertising, but if you look at it through the glasses, you see words like obey, conform, consume, watch TV, marry and produce. They don't want you to be active. They don't want you to find out anything at all. They want you just to buy and be calm and stay out of their life. The movie eventually ends after Nada destroys the signal that transmits the signals to control the humans. Strange as it is, that is the way it goes.
They call them humans.
Okay. They call them humans. I think
They
that
are
is-
humans.
I think that's the best part of that review.
Oh, that was
Hank did a
good.
Hank did a good job there.
Hank.
So the first part of the show here, we're just going to have initial top line overall reactions to the film. Mike, do you want to start us off? What do you think of this film?
Well, I loved it. It's actually one of my favorite films of all time, believe it or not. But not because I think, it is, a great piece of filmmaking or writing, but the message that it sends is, as you said, Matthew, very prescient, and it was timely at the time as well.
Yeah, this was
Timely
this was like,
now.
Yeah.
This was like during Reagan, right? And it feels even much more timely now. I watched it again, and it's interesting watching this with a view of what's going on right now in the world. And it's to me, it's not just a great movie. I think it's one of the most subversive, kind of razor sharp critiques of capitalism and media manipulation ever put on film.
Consumerism.
I think, and consumerism. And I think John Carpenter, he kind of took a B-movie premise, aliens secretly controlling the world through subliminal messaging, and turned it into a really scathing indictment of corporate greed and political corruption and the illusion of choice that we have in a consumer society. And I think that the movie, the more the world devolves into this sort of corporate dystopia, the more prophetic it feels to me.
I have
Nicole,
a question or a request.
Well, you tell me what you think.
Can
of
we
movie, or
let the
ask your
dumb
question.
people talk first so we don't sound as dumb when you guys give these beautiful analysis?
Sorry, Olin's not on this podcast, Will.
Can I just say my dumb like monkey brain opinion of the movie before you guys dive
there's
into?
no
Go
dumb
for it, monkey boy.
There's no dumb thoughts. They're just dumb people.
Don't say that too quickly.
I didn't love it. I thought it followed a similar trajectory as the other Carpenter flicks we've seen. I was excited about it. Good bones, good premise. I didn't really get into the 4D chess level thinking
How?
of what was going on politically, and I was just turning my brain off. I was like, "Ooh, aliens," But I didn't love it. I thought it was kind of mediocre. But
I weep for the future.
yeah, but that's why I wanted to go first. That's why I wanted it to sound not as dumb.
No, I don't think it's dumb. I think unfortunately you've become a victim to this manipulation.
I'm happy to
of
be
not
a
seeing
victim. I
things.
like being a drone. I like binging Netflix.
You need to read Brave New World, my friend. Read
First, I
that.
gotta learn how to read.
Yeah, you
Soma.
lost us at Reed. Sorry.
Soma. We'll all be
Jo-
asleep.
Will, do you remember this year you said you're gonna read more books than your girlfriend?
I'm actually not that far behind her. If we're not counting audiobooks, she's at 2 and I'm at 1.5. So
That's
we're on a decent pace.
that's already more books than you read last year.
It is.
Have you read 50 Shades of Gay yet?
Read it? I've done more than read it.
Look at Mike. Look at Mike. He's holding his head.
It's always derailed by this. Always derailed by this.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you think?
I mean, I was super pumped when I got asked to be on this episode because I love this episode. I was, ever since doing some of these, I was trying to think of my favorite, 80s movie. It would probably be The Thing. So I kind of went through a phase a few years ago trying to watch every Carpenter movie I could see. And, I mean, yeah, and I'm a huge wrestling fan, so Roddy Piper,
Roddy.
I loved it. I love this movie so much.
Mike posted on the Dark Poutine Lumber Yard a wrestler today, and I had no idea who he was.
Bret Hart.
Yeah, I was like,
What?
who's that?
He's my favorite wrestler of all time.
Didn't know
Bret the
Bret
Hitman
Hart's-
Hart. So
Yeah.
I used to have another co-host on the show who turned out to be a jerk. So he's no longer
2 in a
on
row?
the show.
Oh, you asshole!
So anyway, before Matthew, there was this guy, and we did a live show at the Rio in Vancouver, and Bret the Hitman Hart did a show that afternoon before we had our show in the evening. And so we were in the green room. We walk into the green room, and there's Bret the Hitman Hart in the green room. And he says, "Oh, hi, guys." And it's like, "Well, you're Bret Hart." And he's like, "Yeah, I am." We got our picture taken with him and all that kind of stuff. And he said, "Hey, there's this cheese and fruit plate here in the green room. Would you guys like to have it? Because we're not going to take it with us." So, yeah, we spent the evening eating Bret Hart's fruit and cheese plate.
That sounds like some innuendo or something.
Yeah, that's how I did it right there.
If Matthew's involved, the innuendo is definitely a thing.
It's always there. And let's ask Nicole. What do you think of this film?
I think that I really, really would have loved it if I had watched it in the right circumstances. But I was in a bad mood. And,
Oh, no.
And somebody sitting next to me, I couldn't hear the movie over every few seconds. This person going, "I just love this movie. This movie's so fun. Look at this. I just love this movie. Look what's going to happen next." But I think that this would have been right up my alley given the right circumstances.
Yeah, don't sit beside your dad when you watch movies.
Hey, I didn't say who it was.
Well, we know who it was, so.
So what do you guys think of Roddy as an actor?
I liked him.
I actually wrote in my notes that he's a good actor. Like, just from the opening couple scenes, I was like, oh, he doesn't seem like out of place, or he seems like he was in his element a bit.
I wouldn't have assumed he was a wrestler if I had just watched the movie without knowing.
Did you see the shirtless scene?
Oh, that's my
Talking
second.
about-
That was the second note I wrote. Was Roddy's fucking jacked.
He really was.
I knew I was a wrestling fan too, like Josh, but I knew Roddy in like my childhood era. Like, he was the older kind of like scumbag who would come back and just kind of pop in and fuck people's day up on the WWE Raw or whatever. So I didn't know him as this like jacked dude. So when there was the shirtless scene, I was very pleasantly surprised. So
Back in the day, I loved his hair too.
Oh, great hair.
I wanted that hair.
he's a handsome
I think he's
fella.
great in this. It's like the perfect role written for him. Super good. If you see his other stuff, it's one of those things where like the perfect role for the perfect person makes him seem like a great actor, right?
Well, Hell Comes to Frogtown is another movie that he did in the 80s. So
I'm very aware of
Yeah.
the same year, was it not? Also 88, I think.
How many
That's
movies
right.
was he in? Was he a big of a star back then?
I mean, because of his, it was WWF at the time. Because he was involved with that, he was massive. He probably could have done anything he wanted. But Hell Comes to Frogtown is a really fascinating one. I don't want to derail the conversation away from They Live, but if anybody hasn't seen that and they're interested in more Roddy Piper and perhaps some scantily clad female personages, then that's the movie to watch.
You know what I
Two
would have
things
liked
that I
it?
love.
Yes.
There you go.
I would have loved some more scantily clad Frank Armitage in this movie.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's one fine-looking man in this film.
Who's Frank Armitage?
Is that the
Frank,
the leader of the movement kind of thing?
so the actor actually is Keith David.
Oh,
so
Keith David, okay.
Yeah. So Frank is his friend,
his
the
character's name.
construction worker friend. But yeah, he's fine. Hey guys, who do you think is the best wrestler turned actor? So you have Roddy,
Batista.
you have Cena, you have The Rock, you have Batista, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Andre the Giant. Who do you think was the best?
I
If you go
like
by-
Batista.
If you go by box office, it's The Rock. But
Yeah.
But he's not. He plays the same thing
Yeah.
every role.
they all do.
So if we're going by like acting.
No,
ability,
Batista's got range. Have you seen
Yeah.
all the movies he's done? It's
If we're going-
incredible. He's done so many different, like, vastly different roles.
If we're going by acting ability, I think it's Batista.
Yeah, I think The Rock is really good, but I find that Dwayne Johnson's really good as well.
I actually also want to say I think Cena's.
Matthew, you can't
Making
make
it
that
pretty
joke
good.
as many times as you have and expect us to still laugh.
What about Andre the Giant, Princess
Ooh,
Bride?
Princess Bride,
Anyone want a peanut?
But that was his only role, no? Did he do anything else?
He was in an episode of The Hulk, I think, maybe. Something?
He played Sasquatch in the $6 Million Man
Oh, that's what I'm
episode
thinking of. Yes.
about Sasquatch, where the Bionic Man fights Sasquatch. So
Will, can you please explain Hoffman lens technology to the audience?
Hoffman lens technology.
Yeah, that's
Is that the thing that aliens were using?
it was like the glasses, wasn't it, Mike?
Oh, the glasses. Yeah, it's like they got these Ray-Bans in the movie, and you throw them on, and then you can see all the lies in front of your eyes. I think.
Right. And do you think Ray-Ban gave permission to use their brand?
I mean, if I was them, I would say yes. I don't know if they did or not.
Well,
I think it's pretty good.
so
I think people were expecting this movie not to do well, so
Oh, really?
I don't know if they would have wanted that.
Where
I don't-
did this movie stack up in the lineup of Carpenter films? Where in the timeline are we?
I'm sure
This
that'll
is-
be revealed in the rankings
Trivia?
and
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, were the glasses actually Ray-Bans for real? Because I thought,
don't know.
because I
No,
think
I
that's a
just-
funny thing for a movie, like you said, about how advertising is destroying
I
the
think-
world.
yeah,
For
wouldn't it
anyone
be
to be like, "Ooh,
I
can
know.
we get our name?" on
product
It would
placement.
actually-
what a better movie to put product
It
placement
would actually
in.
be really cool, wouldn't it? Josh, do you think Elon Musk is an alien?
that? Maybe. That
If
What about
anyone
Will-
were to be.
would explain
What
a
about
lot.
Wilfred Brimley?
I mean, we could use more aliens like that. I think that's the case.
Type 1 diabetes.
That's great.
Okay, and guys, given that this is based is kind of like a cool conspiracy theory idea that turns real. What's your favorite conspiracy theory out there?
The
I like
aliens are in the ocean.
Okay.
I like the that Paul McCartney died and got replaced in the Beatles. That's a fun one.
Yep.
Favorite
When I was a kid, I thought my dog was an alien, and I'd sit there and say, "I know what you really are. You can tell me. You can tell me." I'd be staring at it, and then be like, "Oh, it's not an alien." I walk away, and then I turn around and be like, "Aha! You're tricking me. That's what you want me to do." But my dog never admitted that he was an alien when I was a kid.
One of
That's
my
so rude
favorite
of him.
conspiracy theories is that the moon landing didn't happen. Like,
That's your favorite one?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Kind
good
of
one,
a
isn't it?
basic conspiracy theory.
Meh. Stanley Kubrick shot
Oh,
that, you know.
So great.
He did that.
So, sorry, what are the best parts of the film?
I think it's got the best fight scene in the history of film
100%.
ever.
If you're
100%.
talking about that stupid 15-minute long fight between the two
Yeah.
friends, that
They-
was the worst part of the movie. They could have
was a
cut it
lot.
down to 30 seconds.
I was
It
like,
was
that-
No.
ridiculous.
Only 6 minutes long. but-
I
It's like, when do they resolve this? This is so.
That's the best part. It has like 5 endings.
Totally.
But it was
like, where was the editor?
so
was he asleep that
stupid.
day?
No, so it wasn't 15. It was 6 minute. It was a 6-minute
minutes?
alley brawl, right? And I love
Too
it.
long.
It's two working class guys beating the crap out of each other because one refuses to see the truth.
So cool.
And I think the metaphor can't be clearer. You know, waking up people isn't easy. And I just thought, for me, it was like a great fight scene, and it was a fight scene for a reason. So it was awesome. I love that fight scene so much.
So
and
good.
Josh, I agree with
Everything-
you. I agree. It's the best fight scene ever in cinema.
Oh my god. Everything about that is in my worst parts, and I despise the whole fight scene, except for the one move that I really liked when he was doing the worm while kicking his friend in the nuts. That was fun.
I think we'd be remiss, though, if we didn't mention the one line that is the absolute one of the best lines from 80s movies ever. I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of
All out of
was my
bubble
favorite.
gum.
What does it even mean?
What does it mean? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's amazing.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Do
use
you
that.
guys know the lore of that one too? Which I always like
No.
is Roddy Piper just wrote down a million things that he would come up with all the time, and then John Carpenter found that out and was like, "Oh, can I have a look at this notebook?" And was like, "Yeah, here's all these ones I haven't used," and that one was in there.
Wow.
I did like all his one-liners.
Since we're on lines, we'll get to worst parts in a minute. Since we're on lines, other great lines. I really liked "We sell out every day. Might as well be on the winning team," because it's so
Yes.
defeatist. It's so defeatist, right? And Mike, the bubblegum line is just the best, right? It's such a good line.
There were a lot of hilarious lines. There were a lot of powerful lines. It had a lot of good quotes. It was a well-written script.
Brother, life's the bitch, and she's back in heat.
I was gonna say, I think the bubblegum line gets so much praise. This time around, I was like, "Oh, that line's like almost as good."
It is good, yeah.
Yeah.
How about this line? How about when he's like helping the blind guy and he goes, "Yeah? Well, let me touch your face." That was amazing.
I don't even remember when this line was said or what context it was in, but I apparently wrote down the quote, "Oh, it's just that idiot licking his nuts again." Don't know when that happened.
Mama don't like tattletales.
I really liked
dear.
the insult formaldehyde face. That was good.
It's so many good.
It really
lines.
is funny when you actually think about how quickly he goes from discovering them to murdering them instantaneously. That's
Okay, that's also one of my bad parts. We're kind of all over the place right now.
Oh, it's okay. Let's jump into bad parts. What
by the way, I didn't think that was a bad part. I just
Exactly.
thought it was funny.
Not everybody's
from-
good parts are going to be bad parts.
Well,
For
Bad
me, there
parts.
are no bad parts in this movie whatsoever. For me, this is perfection.
I really tried to look for something that I didn't like, and I came up with nothing.
I really
oh.
enjoy this movie, but I do have quite a few bad parts.
Okay, let's let him rip, and then Will, we're gonna get to you as well.
Okay.
Well, I guess we can go back to good parts later, because I do have some good parts, because I did really like it. But my first bad part was shooting first, asking questions later. He knows nothing about them. They could be a healthy part of society. They could be friendly. They could be helping everything in the world. Like, they could be the nicest and doing a lot for Earth, and he's just like, I'll just kill them all. And also, open firing into crowds to kill them, he definitely hits civilians in that bank. He was not looking at all when he was shooting.
Collateral damage.
Maybe the glasses also give you really good aim. We don't know that. It could.
I guess so, but that machine gun sweep across the room doesn't really matter where you're aiming. Everyone's getting hit.
There's going to be some martyrs.
Oh, well, they shouldn't have been there.
Also, something I noticed, that alley scene, not the fight scene that I didn't like, but the
With the cops.
the one where the aliens are all shooting at them in the alley and they're all trying to like scatter and escape. Did anyone else notice that they kept reusing the same exact shot of the alien on the roof every time they pan to the roof? Mm-hmm. The same shot.
Didn't notice.
It was that wasn't a great.
You only have so much budget in a film. I mean, come on.
That's just smart filmmaking right there.
Yeah.
Will,
Yeah.
you've been quiet. I have a feeling you have a lot of bad parts.
I didn't have too many bad parts. Like I said, I like going into this episode. I like when the movies we choose are either really bad or really good, and this was right. kind of down the middle for me. It was very like,
Okay.
I don't know, like one bad scene I thought was the police beatdown scene in the alley when they roll up on him, the two cops, and then he kind of just, oh no, wait, not that one. It's when the police come and raid the camp.
Yeah.
And they're beating down the guys on the wall. It just seemed a little pathetic. They just looked like they were just like barely just tapping them. I was like, come on, beat the shit out of them.
You're like, get in there.
Yeah, come on, it's a blind guy.
More
He's
police
defenseless.
brutality.
Well, it's like they're supposed to be the bad guys. I'm like, be bad, break their legs or something.
I can't believe you love police brutality, Will.
I don't love it. I love it in the context of like the villains are supposed to be doing it well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I do love police brutality, let's be honest. No, I just, I don't know. It was an hour and a half movie, and it felt like 2 hours to me. It just felt like, I know you guys didn't disagree, but I just...
It's okay. We're allowed to disagree.
The first 20 minutes of the movie, unnecessary. Like, they could have done all the setup they did in 25 minutes in 5. Because the first 25 minutes, I was sitting there like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to sit through an hour of this. What's even happening?
Yeah.
But as soon as it started, like as soon as he found the glasses, I was like, oh, never mind, I love it. It's really cool.
I was excited about it, like knowing what little I knew about it going in, and like the opening scene where you're like, okay, this is interesting. Roddy, he seems like a good actor. I was like, it's got some bones. But it just never really moved the needle for me. And I really feel like John Carpenter, well, he's dead now, but I feel like he needs to focus less on the music and more on the film, I think.
Yeah, John Carpenter is obsessed with his own music.
Was he a composer first, or?
I don't know. Mike, what do you know about John Carpenter?
What I know about him is he's not dead.
He's not?
Number one, he's not a dead person. He is still living.
He should be.
What?
He's 77.
Did you say John Carpenter's dead?
77. Holy shit. He's not dead.
He's not dead.
My bad.
My
Sorry, Johnny.
God.
Sorry, John, if you listen to this pod.
I worked on as a PA on Masters of Horror a few episodes.
Nice.
And I didn't work with John Carpenter, but I know some people who did work on his episodes, and they said he's fantastic to work with, a really nice guy, and he smokes a lot.
What?
And so it's interesting that he's not dead. So maybe that's where you were going with it. I don't know. Maybe, but he smokes like a chimney. Apparently, they had to sort of relax a whole bunch of no smoking on set rules for John Carpenter, which was really kind of fascinating. But I mean, he's a pretty creative guy. Like he's
very talented.
He does a lot of the scores for his films, and he performs those scores live a lot. So he does tour and play some of the scores that he does, and he does most of it electronically, so it's like keyboard stuff.
Yeah. Mike, just so you guys know, Mike went to film school and has actually made movies, so it's great to have him on.
Jesus Christ. I feel like such a simp.
His biggest claim to fame, in my mind anyway, Mike, is Nicolas Cage's Wicker Man.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
What did you do on Wicker Man?
I was a production assistant on that one too. That was one of the earlier films that I worked on, and I was on set for things like The Bees.
I was going to say, is that the Bees
that's
one?
incredible.
Yep, and watching him punch the lady out, all that kind of stuff. We all knew it was going to be a crappy movie right from day one. We were shooting in a small diner here in Langley, actually, where I am now. And I'm listening to the first lines of the movie, and I just thought, oh no, this movie I'm involved in is horrible. And people on set are all kind of looking at each other and thinking, oh no. And I think Neil LaBute, who was the director, wasn't really, even though he wanted this project to happen, he wasn't really engaged in it. He was on his phone always between scenes, like between takes, on his phone, like probably saying, you need to get me out of here. I'm kind of done with this whole nonsense. But yeah, I mean, that's another one of those things. I've worked on a lot of crap. A Steven Seagal film called I can't even remember what it was called, but
Mike, who is the best actor that you've ever met in terms of like genuinely nice human being?
well, Nicolas Cage was very kind.
Really?
Christopher Walken, very nice. Alicia Silverstone, very nice.
Can I ask you a question?
Tom Arnold, I worked with a bunch of times. He was weird. Always needed a cold Diet Coke between takes, which was like, and he would just shotgun a cold Diet Coke between takes. But yeah, there's a lot of really nice actors. Probably one of the nicest though. He's a little lesser known. His name is Lachlan Monroe. I can't remember what he would be in that you've seen, but he's Canadian. But he bought ice cream for the entire crew at one point during
He's
a
already
shoot.
won me over.
Oh, I know this
Right?
guy.
And he said, "Hey, I got this." He was pointing at his convertible, and he says, "Hey, I got this convertible here. It's a really nice car, like a classic car." He says, "You want to take it and go get stuff for the crew?" And I was like, "I don't want to drive your car," but yeah,
that
I
guy's
mean,
great.
yeah.
And Mike, what about that? What's his name? Really short guy, Leslie.
Leslie Jordan. I worked with him.
No way.
Yes,
You
I
worked with
did.
him?
I worked with
God,
him.
I
He was
love
a
him.
very kind man. And
He's great.
surprisingly gay as the day is long.
Really?
Oh my
That's
god!
not surprising.
No.
No
I'm pretty
idea.
sure he's known as the gayest gay that's ever gayed.
He's way more the gay than me.
He
that's for sure.
actually signed a copy of a DVD that I had with him in it, where he plays this insane person who believes that they're Tammy Wynette, and so he dresses. It's called Sordid Lives. He was such a lovely person. I was so sad when he passed.
What was his name again?
Leslie
was-
Jordan.
Leslie
I was
Jordan.
devastated, but also it took me a while to believe it because, Trixie and Katya, the drag queens, they have a running joke where Katya is always trying to trick Trixie into thinking that Leslie Jordan died.
Yeah.
So when they would be talking about her, she'd be like, "Rest in peace," and then she'd be like, "What? No," and they'd have to look it up. So then when I found out that he died, I was like, "Nah, it's just another joke. I've been through this before."
But then it suddenly was no longer funny.
No.
No, not anymore.
Okay, so let's move on to the rankings. Thank you, Mike. I love these. I've heard these stories, but I,
I
love
have
hearing
many
them every
weird
single time.
anecdotes.
Yeah. So let's move to the rankings. Okay. So according to Box Office Mojo's Worldwide, They Live was the 74th highest earning movie at the box office in 1988. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the leader at the box office, and this film was beat by literally everything. So one of the popular films that beat it was Die Hard, and of course, Olin writes this script, and he's saying here that Cocktail is a Too Old or Pure Gold favorite. I disagree, but we did cover the film, so Cocktail beat this film. It was also beat by some really, really terrible films, like Cocoon 2 and Arthur 2.
See, those movies don't hold up at all.
know.
in the movie lexicon, but They Live trumps them. Excuse me for using a bad word, but it trumps them in a big way, a huge way. Like Cocoon 2? Come on.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? So let's face it, They Live didn't really do well in the box office, but it did beat Caddyshack 2 and Maniac Cop.
Well, Maniac Cop is actually quite fun.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's another
I've never
fun
seen
film.
it. Maybe that's one for the show. That's one for the show.
I
Is
mean,
it good?
the budget for
Fun camp movie for sure.
They Live was really not huge. It was like $3 million bucks.
We'll get to the budget in a minute. We'll
Okay.
get to the budget in a minute. So in 1988, one of my favorite movies, actually, that won Best Picture for Oscar, and that was The Last Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
If you've not seen The Last Emperor, it's a fantastic film about the last emperor of China. And to be honest, I think Olin asked me here in the script, what would I rather watch? The Last Emperor or They Live, and I say a double fucking feature. I would love to watch both of these movies again and again and again.
I would love to watch They Live again.
You do it.
Yeah,
You
but
can
alone probably.
Come over and watch it with me, Nicole.
I would love that, but you have to promise that I don't have to watch The Last Emperor again.
No, you don't have to. Did you not like The Last Emperor?
No, but I also watched it in high school, so I don't know.
Oh,
Okay,
if you're forced to watch something, it's kind of, I don't know.
And then I'm a bit spiteful, and then I'll hate it forever if you make me watch it. So.
Yeah.
So I would love to come over and watch They Live with you.
Okay, we'll do that. Mike can come over as
Yeah,
well.
let's have
We'll
a
make
John Carpenter fest. I'm game for that. That sounds fun.
That
Do you
would be
all want to wear
awesome.
pajamas? Do like a pajama party?
Yes!
Okay.
I'm so in.
I need a onesie.
We'll get
You
you
don't have a
onesie, Mike.
onesie?
I don't. I've always
You're not
wanted
living
one.
life.
Yeah. I mean, I want
I
a
have a
dinosaur.
rubber one you can borrow.
No, I'm not
Oh.
wearing anything of yours.
I have a
don't.
Doctor Who one.
I don't. Oh, do you have a Doctor Who onesie?
Yeah, it's a TARDIS.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Okay, by the numbers, guys. So the budget for this film was $4 million, and I want you guys to try to guess what it pulled in at the box office. Will, what do you think it pulled in?
12 million.
Mike?
I can't say because I know.
Jonesy? Sorry, that's my new nickname for you.
Where did that
I'll
come
take
from?
It came from Letterkenny.
Letterkenny. I got it. I appreciate it. Thank you. No, I would say my guess was going to be 15 million.
Okay. And Nicole, what's your guess?
25.
Okay. Will wins he's off by a mere $1 million. It pulled in $13 million.
13.4, yeah.
I am on the ball. I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket.
Okay, so now, Mike, can you please try to guess the critic and then the audience score of this movie on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, God. Rotten Tomatoes is full of idiots, so...
That's literally our gospel here.
I would say probably the critics may have panned it and maybe around 50%, and I would say that the
Just to
audience
tell
score...
you, Mike, it's like then and now combined reviews.
Oh, then and now?
Yeah, like Rotten Tomatoes is from when it came out to now.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
know.
combined.
So I would say the critics didn't like it very well, but, yeah, it does better over time, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so critic score and audience score, Mike.
Oh, God, I don't know. Critics
just a
score
guess.
maybe 60% and audience
Okay.
score 85.
Okay, Will?
I'm going to go critics 70%, audience 60.
Okay. Olin, I hope you're taking the math then.
His little math whiz over here.
Josh, Jonesy?
Well, they were, they were all over the numbers I was going to pick. So I'll take a chance and say that critics is up to 80. I'm going to give the audience score like 90.
Whoa.
80 and 90.
I
And
think 85, 90. I like your
Nicole?
90. I'm stealing it.
85 and 90. Okay, so Olin, do you want to jump in? So you're the math man. Tell us.
Well, I'm the math man, and it was critics 87. 87% of critics said this is worth watching, get out and see it, and audience was 80. So that puts Nicole the winner at a 12, and an honorable mention to Josh at 17. Mike, you were 32. Will, you were 37, and we all know low score wins.
I would love to see the critics' responses from 1988 because they're not going to be good. So
We do have some reviews coming up.
people have become fanboys.
We're going to be getting to Siskel and Ebert soon.
Yes, please.
So, here's a bit of fun movie trivia, guys. So the fight sequence was designed, rehearsed, and choreographed in the backyard of John Carpenter's production office. The fight between Nada, Roddy Piper, and Frank Keith David. So that fight was choreographed in the backyard. It was only supposed to last 20 seconds, but Piper and David decided to fight it out for real, only faking the hits to the face and the groin. They rehearsed the fight for 3 weeks, and Carpenter was so impressed that he kept the scene intact, which runs, well, I said 6 minutes earlier. Olin has here, it was 5 minutes and 20 seconds exactly.
It actually was so long, I thought it was a bit. Like, I was like, this is getting out of hand now.
I have
Someone
a
needs
question
to
for all
win.
of you.
Wait. So just to that point, well, do you think it was like Family Guy when he fights the chicken?
It was so reminiscent of that. It was literally like, oh my god, they're changing neighborhoods now.
Where do you think they got the bit from?
Did you expect bird? The bird is the word.
Yeah, like, that was crazy.
Oh God. Yeah. Sorry for breaking in there, but Nicole, what were you saying?
I have a question for all of you. Would you not just wear a pair of sunglasses if you thought they did nothing? Would you not just put them on to not get hit in the groin a dozen times?
I suppose.
What happens if that's your kink?
Well, then you would do both probably.
Right.
But
know,
I
but
feel
put the
like
Glasses on, but bash away at those
Because
nuts.
at that point in the movie, he also thinks that character's like a murderer, right? So
But
he's
then,
kind of like, I don't
but
want
then
anything to do
even
with
more so, would you not just put on the glasses to not get beat up and possibly murdered?
I think he thought he could take him, and they had a good fight.
That's
I think I would just say, yeah, I'll wear sunglasses. Don't hurt me.
You don't understand. You don't understand, dudes.
Yeah, and this is why they don't live as long as women.
This is a Rambo situation. I'm walking back into town.
Well, I would walk back into town in Rambo, but I would wear sunglasses if a murderer said put on the sunglasses.
Mike, we did Rambo last week, so you're happy you didn't join us
Oh,
last
interesting.
week.
I was thinking of Rambo this whole.
Oh, Rambo.
Like, throughout
Ooh.
the
Yeah,
movie.
we did
First blood,
Blood.
yes. Rambo, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
it was
Yeah,
First
sorry.
Blood.
Oh,
So it was First Blood, horrible movie. So here is
go shit your
so-
hat.
I'm the holder of the script.
It's a mistake.
I don't know. So here, this was Rowdy was the first wrestler ever in history to star in a successful major studio movie. If we call They Live successful, I think the long term it was.
You made 4 times
Jay-
as money.
Yeah, that's true. John Carpenter used actual homeless people as extras. This is because
Unhomed.
Because they're cheaper.
Be politically correct.
unhomed people as extras. Piper himself had been unhomed, and therefore getting into the role was emotional for him. The role of Nada was originally written for no, that's just wrong. So the role of Nada was originally written for Kurt Russell.
I mean, that's not shocking. He
I
loved
feel
working
like
with Kurt
everything that John Carpenter did, he wrote for Kurt Russell. I feel like they might have been in love.
Yeah, John Carpenter's gay for Kurt Russell. I mean, who is
Yeah,
it?
there
Who
was
is it?
there was definitely a bromance going on there. But Carpenter felt he should cast somebody else after casting Russell in 4 of his prior films. So he didn't want to give away that they were having a love affair.
Yeah, it was getting a little too obvious.
Yeah, Roddy, say that 10 times fast, quit WWF to make this film. The sunglasses called Hoffman lenses are named after Albert Hoffman, the creator of LSD.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah.
My favorite toy as a child.
Yeah, Mike was a big LSD boy.
Oh my goodness.
That's wicked. Was?
Yeah,
hang out,
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't want to see Mike high.
No.
The film was originally a short story in the 60s and a graphic novel. And it's hard to know how many of these are true, but IMDb page claims that John Carpenter considered the following: Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, Sylvester Stallone. Of course, Olin has David Hasselhoff highlighted here on the script because Olin has a bromance going with the Hoff.
It's not a bromance. He's just straight up in love with him.
Blah.
He doesn't want to be his bro. He wants to marry him.
Let me get this.
He wants to be his
I'm gonna
man.
eat my hamburger on the floor and look like a yeah.
But he was responsible for the falling of the Berlin Wall.
Okay.
Johnny Depp, Alec Baldwin, Michael Biehn Brian Bosworth, Jeff Bridges, Bruce Campbell, Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, Tommy Lee Jones, Michael Keaton, Christopher Lambert, Stephen Lang, Dolph Lundgren, Michael Marsden, Bill Paxton, Ron Perlman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Bruce Willis. So that's
That's a wide range.
That's a very wide range.
It's literally everyone popular at the time. It was like, it doesn't matter what they do, how good of an actor they are. If they're popular, they're going in my movie.
Just throw out a random name from 1980s.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, guys, woke or joke? Anything in this movie that hasn't aged well in terms of the wokeometer?
No, everything aged super well,
It was
actually.
fine.
Yeah.
They didn't take any stabs or big swings at all. It was just.
Well, I thought, and it was a nice presentation of like, perhaps, I'm sure, what people weren't aware of, like unhelped people, like you were saying at the time. Like, there's still people in there just down on their luck or whatever. Like, I thought that was a nice portrayal.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Honestly,
It was sensitive, yeah.
if not for the mullet, you could have told me this was made today and I would have believed it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, one thing. This isn't something that like didn't age well, but it was something that was so unrealistic. It's like when he's sleeping in like the alleyway the first night. It's like one of the opening scenes, and he's watching the TV through the guy's window. And like I was like, no one is ever gonna leave their window open right next to a homeless encampment. That's like, that's just so that's movie magic right there. No one is living that way. But anyways, yeah.
Maybe,
But
maybe
maybe he's
maybe
friends
they-
with them.
Exactly. Maybe they know all the people in the unhomed encampment.
Maybe they're
and-
friends and they
yeah.
have a deal. I'll
Yeah.
leave my window open. You can watch the news.
And you
What,
don't rob
what
me.
does he get in return?
He doesn't.
Larceny?
He gets the.
Friendship?
Larceny. A side order of larceny, Will.
Now that's
Maybe he's just lonely and he wants friends.
exactly. That's not woke.
He's got a home. He's chilling.
It's so
All right,
funny.
sorry.
So,
We'll cut that part out. But anyways, no other woke or joke. comments.
I thought it was still really relevant to today, so.
yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah, no, you and Mike have to come over and watch it again.
And the women were strong characters, which I approved of. There was
Yeah.
nothing offensive to women. They even had a good line about racial justice. It was good for all the minorities.
There were a few directors back in that era that were really sort of progressive in that way. George Romero was another one. Take a look at, I mean, I know we're going back a ways, but 1968, Night of the Living Dead, you have a black lead character
In
in a
68.
horror movie that is the strong character throughout the whole film. I'm not going to say how the movie ends, but that was unheard of. at
Well,
the
and like
time.
something he had to fight
Yeah.
for really hard to keep that, right?
That's right.
I love that.
Wow.
I gotta watch that. But I knew it was gonna be good in that aspect when one of the first lines of the movie was racial justice and human rights are non-existent. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
this is gonna be up my
This is gonna be
alley
good.
for fighting for rights for minorities.
Excellent.
Yeah, just
okay, guys.
think about the era that people like John Carpenter came from. They're hippies. They are those people who were fighting against the Vietnam War at the time, and Tricky Dick Nixon and all his sort of compatriots. And you know how things are cyclical. We're seeing the same thing come back again, which is why this film is so relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, that raid scene really hits different when the world's like it is right now. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys. However we felt about this movie, I promise you there are others who liked it way more and way less than you guys did. And for this movie, there were a massive 109 10-star reviews out of a total of 554 reviews. And here are a few notable quotes from them. This movie resonates in 2020. Watch and learn, millennials.
Oh, are you reading
Okay.
from IMDb?
This is what we do, Mike.
Oh no.
Super mullet badass. My fifth favorite movie ever. Who is this guy? We need those sunglasses. And is John Carpenter related to George Orwell? And now from our 10-star nuts. I am a conspiracy theorist and I believe everything about this masterpiece. Another one, open your eyes and look around you. See what they don't want you to see. The government leaders and other corrupt individuals causing the terror attacks. The filthy rich elite and their evil bloody hands controlling money and power, and the fraudulent psychiatric industry brainwashing and destroying minds by drugging everyone with mind-altering experimental psychiatric drugs from newborn infants to adults. Wow. Wow. So that was one of the 10-star reviews. And finally, last 10-star review. I find it really funny that some critics actually give it 0 out of 100. It really is just a confirmation that they do live. And now we hear from people who liked it a lot less. There are only 11 one-star reviews compared to the 109 10-star reviews. So Jeff calls this movie slow, long, dull, and with really stupid characters. Carpenter seems to know he's only got enough story to fill about half an hour of a Twilight Zone episode. So he stretches every single scene to the max.
Wow. My name is Jeff.
Eslick says, the sunglasses are a cool idea, and the premise of the film is actually kind of cool, if cliche. But the script, acting, direction, and effects are some of the worst in history. Fuck you, Eslick. Ants.
I actually thought the effects aged pretty well for 80s effects.
Absolutely. Ants, a guy named Ants is harsh. I must warn people about this movie. I'm a fan of John Carpenter. The Fog and The Thing are both excellent movies. This is terrible. This film just doesn't go anywhere. I wish I had watched The X-Files instead.
The subtext of that review is, I voted for Donald Trump.
Then he writes, literally, period, the period, worst period, movie, period, I have ever seen in my entire life, period.
Slap.
No. And rebuttal to the 10-star nuts. I pity left-wing people who feel like they're literally living out John Carpenter's fantasies.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I know. There you go, Mike. You nailed it right there, my friend. Mm-hmm. So Siskel and Ebert. Let's talk about those boys. So Siskel gave it a thumbs up, appreciating its social commentary and unique concept, while Ebert gave it a thumbs down.
Of course he did. Roger Ebert was a troll.
Screw you, Ebert.
Yeah, that guy didn't know
feeling
a good
that
movie.
The execution was too heavy-handed and lacked subtlety.
Did either of them comment on the versions of themselves in the movie? Because I thought that was funny.
I think maybe Siskel was human, as Hank said, he's a human, and maybe Ebert was one of the aliens. Right? Okay, guys, remake. Does this movie deserve a remake, prequel, or sequel?
I think it's pretty solid the way it is. I think it's more effective knowing that it was always this way, and I think the message is more effective coming from the past, because it's just seeing how we've evolved
with you.
and not really changed.
That's really well said, actually.
I am with you.
Boys?
I don't think it needs to be remade. I think it's fine as it is.
You're so blasé about this movie, Will.
I don't know. It just didn't really get my dick hard. I just was like,
I'm glad it didn't. Jeez.
I mean, like
I don't think
cinematically, not physically. Just
Never
like
know with you.
I don't know. I just was like, there was good about it, but it was mostly I was like, whatever. Just let it stay in the past. Let John Carpenter have his thing.
Well, you thought he was dead, so.
He should be for this movie. No, I'm just joking.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Sorry, just joking.
Wow.
I'm sending this one to John Carpenter.
Josh?
I mean, yeah, I think it would be a hard one to touch, and the execution of a new one probably wouldn't be done as well. I don't think, but I mean, I'm a sucker. I'd probably check it out.
Yeah, I probably would as well. Hey, did you guys know that in 2010, a remake of the movie was stated as being in development with Carpenter in a producing role? John Carpenter announced that he's working on sequels titled They Laugh and They Love. Live, laugh, and love!
Oh, wow.
which will continue the story from the original film.
No.
Fantastic. That would be
joke.
so funny, though.
That is a joke.
That has to be a joke. That has to be a joke. Okay, guys. And the final point here is this too old or pure gold, and I'm going to jump in first with my thought. I think this is pure gold.
I think it's pure gold.
Me too.
I think it's old gold.
Okay.
I would say pure gold. Also, something I forgot to touch on, I don't think anyone brought up, is one of my favorite uses of black and white in a movie ever.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it was,
Oh,
it
well
was
said,
good.
yeah. I
It
did
was,
like
yeah.
that.
It,
that was
yeah,
great.
we miss. It was great.
One of my favorite parts was when he first puts the sunglasses on. That is a cool scene.
That was a really good moment. Very
Yeah.
good film right there. I also, no, I'm getting back into it. I don't need to do that, but and I just thought everything aged well, and it's a good message, and it's just all around good, solid movie.
Okay, and before we sign off, let's do some plugs. Mike, let's plug the Dark Poutine podcast. Where can people find Dark Poutine?
Darkpoutine.com or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah, so Canadian true crime and dark history, ladies and gents. And Josh, you have some news.
Oh yeah, I don't know when this will be out, but I'm going to be in some Just for Laughs Vancouver lineups for the first time, so I'm excited about that.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well done.
Fantastic.
yeah. And you
Will?
can check out Absolutely Obscure as well.
The Absolutely Obscure podcast.
Yeah.
And Will, what's going on in your life, my friend?
I will also be on some Just for Laughs showcases. Not the fun ones that Josh was on, but some equally as impressive ones.
That's right.
Probably on, I think they're February 16th. I hope.
Excellent.
I think.
Oh, I forgot one thing.
And that's about it.
Excellent. And Mike, go on.
My first book, Murder, Madness, and Mayhem, is being re-released on mass market paperback in May of
Congrats.
2025.
Boom. That's a big win for Mike. So Murder, Madness, Mayhem did incredibly well, and they're now making it even bigger.
Yeah, both my books, Murder, Madness, and Mayhem, Strange, Spooky, and Supernatural, were bestsellers on Globe and Mail and The Star.
That's awesome.
Great.
Wow,
And
great.
I'm going to plug, if you are in Quebec, Ontario, or Alberta, pick up some uncommon cannabis. And finally, I'll leave you all with a message. If you're a boy in your late 40s, get your prostate checked.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.